There's a quiet truth you may have noticed in daily life. Most of the things we fear are things that never truly happen. We get held back not by the world, but by the walls we imagine inside our own mind. And tonight's story gently explores that truth, slowly, softly, like moonlight settling over calm water. Welcome to Sleepy Zen's story, where the night softens everything and every breath brings you closer to stillness. As the story begins, imagine yourself standing beside a narrow river at night. The water glides past in long silver ribbons, touched only by the glow of the moon. Crickets hum softly in the grass, and the breeze brushes your skin with the gentlest coolness. Everything feels slower here, quieter, as if the world itself has decided to breathe with you. Just a few steps ahead, an old wooden cabin rests beneath a leaning willow tree. You've seen it before, not in real life, but somewhere in your memory, like a place you always meant to return to. Its walls are worn smooth by time, and its door stands closed, but not in an unwelcoming way, more like a question, more like an invitation waiting for a moment of courage. You walk toward it slowly, feeling the earth soften under your feet. The night is calm, steady, uncomplicated, and with each step you feel yourself dropping deeper into a quieter place within, a place that doesn't rush, doesn't push, doesn't demand. The cabin is small, peaceful, and completely still. For a moment, you simply stand before the door, listening to the soft rhythm of the river behind you. Your hand rises gently, almost without meaning to. You rest your fingers against the wood. It's warm, not locked, not heavy, not resisting you. Just a door. Just a simple door that you always assumed was closed to you. And in that moment, something inside your chest loosens, a small knot, a quiet tightness you didn't even know you were carrying. You take a slow breath, the world exhales with you, and the night finally begins to open. You keep your hand on the wooden surface for a moment longer, feeling its gentle warmth, its quiet stillness. It's strange how something so simple can feel so meaningful. For days, months, maybe even years, you carried the belief that this door, or doors like it, would be locked, difficult, closed to you. Yet here it stands, calm and patient, as if it has been waiting for you far longer than you realize. The night settles around you in a soft embrace. The river behind you whispers like a low lullaby, its current gliding effortlessly through the dark. The moon hangs above, silent and watchful, washing everything in pale, silvery light. And in the middle of this gentle stillness, you notice something, inside you shifting, something small but real. You curl your fingers lightly around the wooden handle. It doesn't resist, it doesn't push back, it simply moves with you, as though it was always meant to. A soft creak drifts into the quiet air, not loud, not startling, just the tender sigh of old wood waking up after a long rest. The door opens, and behind it there is no darkness waiting to swallow you. There is only a soft amber glow, warm, steady, peaceful. You keep your hand on the wooden surface for a moment longer, feeling its gentle warmth, its quiet stillness. It's strange how something so simple can feel so meaningful. For days, months, maybe even years, you carried the belief that this door, or doors like it, would be locked,
difficult, closed to you. Yet here it stands, calm and patient, as if it has been waiting for you far longer than you realize. The night settles around you in a soft embrace. The river behind you whispers like a low lullaby, its current gliding effortlessly through the dark. The moon hangs above, silent and watchful, washing everything in pale, silvery light. And in the middle of this gentle stillness, you notice something, inside you shifting, something small but real. You curl your fingers lightly around the wooden handle. It doesn't resist, it doesn't push back, it simply moves with you, as though it was always meant to. A soft creak drifts into the quiet air, not loud, not startling, just the tender sigh of old wood waking up after a long rest. The door opens, and behind it there is no darkness waiting to swallow you. There is only a soft amber glow, warm, steady, peaceful, the kind of light that feels like a memory of safety, the kind of light that melts the tension in your shoulders and loosens the breath you didn't realize you were holding. Inside the cabin, the air feels gentle, touched with the scent of old pine and faint warmth. It welcomes you in the same way the river welcomed the moonlight, effortlessly, naturally, without demanding anything from you. You take a step inside, and as your foot touches the wooden floor, you feel it again, that quiet shift, that soft clearing in the mind, a sense that perhaps the world isn't as closed as you once believed. Perhaps the obstacles were never tall, never unbreakable, never as real as they felt. Maybe, just maybe, the door was never locked. Maybe you simply never tried turning the handle. You take another slow breath, letting the warmth of the cabin fill your lungs, steady, grounding, calm. The river continues whispering behind you. The world remains soft, quiet, forgiving. Tonight, the journey is not about pushing, not about forcing, not about fighting. It's about seeing clearly, gently, slowly. Like moonlight finally reaching a room it was always meant to touch. The cabin holds its breath with you, and the night opens a little wider.
You stand just inside the doorway, letting the warm glow wrap around you like a soft blanket. Nothing in the room demands your attention. Nothing pulls, nothing calls, nothing pushes. The light simply exists, calm, steady, patient, the way waves rest against the shore without needing to prove they belong there. It takes you a moment to realize how unusual this feeling is, how rare it is to step into a space that doesn't want anything from you, how long it has been since you felt this kind of quiet. The cabin feels lived in, but gently so, like someone who cared for it simply stepped outside for a moment. A wooden table sits by the window, its surface illuminated by the moonlight slipping through the glass. Dust floats softly in the beam, drifting at its own slow pace, unhurried and unbothered by the world. You exhale, and something inside you eases, not with force, but with permission. There's a small chair near the corner, hand-carved, the kind of seat made for long nights spent thinking, or perhaps not thinking at all. You run your fingers across the back of it, feeling the smooth curve, the quiet craftsmanship. It invites you, not loudly, not urgently, but with a gentle certainty, as if it knows you've been carrying too much weight for far too long. You sit.
The chair settles under your body, creaking in a low, familiar way that feels less like a complaint and more like an old friend adjusting to your presence. You lean back slightly, letting your shoulders drop for the first time in what feels like days, weeks, maybe even longer. Outside, the river continues its slow conversation with the night. The moon remains steady, pouring soft white across the floor. The world keeps moving, but nothing here expects you to keep up. This stillness is not empty, it's full of space you've forgotten you need. And as you sit there, watching the gentle dance of dust in the moonbeam, you begin to understand something simple, yet quietly powerful. Your mind builds walls the world never put there. Your fears lock doors no one else ever closed. Your doubts create barriers that crumble the moment you touch them. Maybe the light doesn't rush because it knows something you don't. Maybe peace comes not when you force the world to slow down, but when you finally stop racing ahead of yourself. You breathe again, deeper this time. The cabin breathes with you, and for the first time all day, you feel the faint outline of rest settling into your bones.
You sit quietly, letting the room cradle you in its soft glow. And for a moment, nothing in you moves except your breath. Slow, steady, almost hesitant at first, as if unsure whether it's allowed to take up space here. But the more you breathe, the more the air welcomes you. Gentle, warm, unhurried. Your eyes drift toward the old wooden door on the opposite side of the cabin. It's simple, plain, almost forgettable. A door that could lead anywhere or nowhere. You've passed through thousands of doors in your life without thinking, but this one feels different. It's not demanding your attention, yet you can't look away. Maybe it's the way the moonlight rests on its surface. Maybe it's the way the grain of the wood seems to flow like water. Or maybe it's something deeper, something quiet, something in you that recognizes the meaning before you understand it. You exhale, long, slow, and the door gives a tiny, soft creak. Not opening, not moving, just responding, as if your breath reached it before your feet did. You blink. You breathe again. The door responds again. It's subtle, gentle, almost playful, like the universe tapping back when you finally stopped knocking so hard. And that's when it hits you, not as a thought, but as a feeling. Maybe the door was never locked. Maybe it never needed a key. Maybe the only thing that kept it closed was the noise inside your mind. All the pushing, all the forcing, all the trying. The door didn't move because you never stopped long enough to see it didn't have to. You rise slowly from the chair, your legs steady, your breath even. The floorboards give a soft sigh under your weight, the same way you did moments ago, releasing tension, releasing hurry, releasing the idea that everything must be solved at once. You take one step toward the door, then another. Your hand lifts, not with urgency, but with curiosity. Your fingertips hover above the wood, barely touching, and the door shifts again, just slightly, as if greeting you. Nothing in this moment feels forced. Nothing feels heavy.
Nothing feels like an obstacle. It feels like an invitation, a quiet one, a patient one, the kind that waits for you to be ready, not perfect. You inhale, slow, deep, real. And as you breathe out, your hand rests fully on the door, warm, smooth, alive in a way only something waiting for you can be. For a heartbeat, you stand still. Not afraid, not doubtful, just present. And then, with the gentlest touch, nothing more than a breath, the door begins to open. Not because you pushed it, not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped believing you needed force at all. You watch as a sliver of moonlight widens, stretching across the floor like a path unfolding at your feet. A path that was always there, hidden only by your own tension, your own rushing, your own unfinished breaths. And as the door opens just a little further, you sense something waiting on the other side. Not a challenge, not a danger, not a demand. A beginning.
The door opens just wide enough for you to step through. And as you cross the threshold, something subtle shifts around you. Not loudly, not dramatically, but with the kind of gentleness that only appears when you finally stop rushing. The air on the other side is cooler, softer, almost as if it has been untouched for a long time, patiently holding its space, waiting for you to arrive at your own pace. A long hallway stretches out before you, narrow, silent, simple. Its wooden floorboards carry the scent of age, the warmth of memory, and the quiet promise of something meaningful, though not yet revealed. The walls aren't decorated with portraits or symbols. They hold nothing except stillness, and in that emptiness you sense a truth you've ignored for years. Not everything needs to speak to be understood. Not every path needs to be crowded to have purpose. You take a single step forward, and the soft echo of your footstep ripples through the hallway, not loud, but steady, like a reminder that you're here, that you're present, that the world can feel you when you stop trying so hard to be somewhere else. Another slow breath, and the hallway responds, not with movement, but with presence, a feeling that the space is adjusting itself around you, aligning itself with your pace. It doesn't rush you, it doesn't pull you, it simply walks with you, quiet and loyal, like an old friend who has nothing to prove. You continue forward, each step deliberate, each breath a gentle anchor. For the first time in a long time, you're not planning the next move. You're not trying to get somewhere. You're not measuring progress. You're just moving. And that simple act feels different now, lighter, softer, real. Halfway down the hallway, you notice something you didn't see at first. Not a door, not an object, a feeling. A small, warm shift in the air, like a thought that almost formed but didn't need words. It brushes against you, subtle as the memory of someone calling your name from far away. It doesn't push you forward, it simply nudges your awareness deeper into the moment. You stop walking, not because you're unsure, but because something inside you finally whispers, pause. The hallway holds you in its quiet. Nothing moves.
The silence is not empty. It's supportive, grounding, familiar in a way you hadn't expected. And standing there, you begin to realize something that should have been obvious, but somehow never was. The hallway wasn't leading you anywhere. It wasn't a test. It wasn't a puzzle. It was a mirror for your pace. When you rushed, it felt narrow. When you slowed, it expanded. When you paused, it breathed with you. Every step you took reshaped the feeling of the space, not because the hallway changed, but because you did. And with that realization
Your breath deepens once more, settling into a rhythm that feels like it belongs to this moment, not borrowed from stress or expectation. You look ahead. At the far end of the hallway, a soft glow begins to bloom, faint, warm, like the first whisper of dawn. It wasn't there before. Or maybe it was, and you simply weren't slow enough to see it. Either way, it waits for you. Not urgently, not impatiently, just there. A quiet beginning within a beginning.
You begin walking again, slowly, and the soft glow at the end of the hallway grows brighter, not fast, not dramatically, but with the steady confidence of something that has always been there, simply waiting for your eyes to adjust. Each step you take seems to clarify the space around you, as if the light is not approaching you, but revealing what was invisible in the dark. The wooden floor under your feet feels warmer now, as though the glow itself is gently waking the hallway from a long, patient sleep. The air loosens, softens, becomes easier to breathe. You notice the faint scent of old cedar drifting through the space, subtle, comforting, grounding. It feels like a memory you've never lived, yet somehow recognize deep in your chest. The more you walk, the less you feel the need to reach the end quickly. The glow isn't calling you. It isn't promising anything. It isn't offering a reward. It simply exists, and something about that calm presence settles your mind more than any answer ever could. You slow your pace again, and the light responds, not by brightening, but by becoming clearer, more defined, more honest. It's no longer just a distant glow. Now it softly shapes the air around it, forming a warm pool of illumination that feels like a breath made visible. You stop a second time, and this pause feels different from the first. The earlier stop was accidental, a moment of realization. This one is intentional, a quiet choice. The hallway seems to understand. The air stills. The world holds you gently in place. As you breathe, something becomes painfully obvious yet beautifully simple. You've spent most of your life chasing lights that fade the closer you get. Achievements, approval, control, perfection. Always something ahead, always something more. But this light, this one doesn't run from you, doesn't hide, doesn't demand pursuit. It's content to remain exactly where it is, even if you never take another step toward it. And in that stillness, you feel a truth rise inside you. What's meant to guide you won't demand that you chase it. It will meet you at the pace that heals you. You breathe deeper, slower, letting that truth settle into the spaces inside you that have been tight for years. With that breath, something subtle happens. The glow flickers, not dimming, but shifting like a soft pulse. For a moment, you think the light is greeting you, or perhaps responding to your breath. A gentle rhythm forms, not perfectly synchronized, but harmonized enough to feel shared. The hallway feels less like a place and more like a companion. You take one more slow step forward, just one, nothing more, and that single step is enough. The light grows clearer, widening just slightly, revealing the faint outline of another door. Not large, not grand, but familiar in the way a memory feels familiar even before you've remembered it. The door is simple, unmarked,
unlocked. And yet, somehow, it feels like it holds a promise you haven't named. For the first time tonight, your mind becomes quiet enough for a new feeling to rise. Not curiosity, not fear, not longing, readiness. A quiet readiness that asks for nothing more than presence. The hallway behind you waits in silence. The door ahead waits in light. And you stand between them, breathing, steady, aware.
You stand before the door, and for a long, unhurried moment, nothing happens. No dramatic shift, no sudden message, no pressure to act. Just the quiet fact of you and the quiet fact of the door. It's strange how something so simple can hold so much presence. The wood is worn smooth, the way old things become when time isn't fighting them. Soft lines, gentle curves, a surface shaped more by patience than by force. There's no lock, no handle that demands to be turned, only a small space at the edge where your hand could push if you chose to. But the door doesn't pull you, doesn't call you, doesn't whisper promises of what lies beyond. It simply waits. And that waiting, somehow, feels like respect. The hallway behind you remains warm, its soft glow stretched like a calm breath across the floor. You feel its comfort at your back, not pushing you forward, not pulling you backward, simply acknowledging your presence, as if the space itself is patient enough to let you choose your pace. You breathe in, longer this time, and as the air fills your chest, the world seems to shift, not outwardly, but inwardly. Something loosens, something unclenches. There's a softness spreading through your ribs, your shoulders, the center of your throat. For years, you've rushed decisions, jumped into things, forced clarity, tried to meet expectations before they were even spoken. But this moment, this door, it invites nothing of that. It's the first choice in a long time where there is no wrong answer. You notice the way the faint glow behind you gently dusts the edge of the doorframe, creating a soft outline of gold against the wood. It's beautiful in its simplicity, subtle, quiet, humble, the kind of beauty that doesn't try to be noticed, but becomes unforgettable because of that. Your fingertips rise, slow, steady, and hover just above the door. But you don't push yet, because something inside you whispers a truth you've been avoiding. The hardest part is not opening the door. The hardest part is allowing yourself to believe you're ready to see what's behind it. You lower your hand, not out of fear, but out of reflection. For the first time, you realize the door is not here to separate you from something. It's here to mirror where you stand within yourself. Every unmade decision, every moment you paused because uncertainty felt safer than movement, every time you wanted to step forward but hesitated because you thought you needed permission. This door holds all of that, not as a burden, but as a reminder. You place your palm flat against the wood. The surface is warm, unexpectedly warm, as if the door has been holding a gentle heat inside it, waiting for your touch to feel it. The warmth doesn't rush through you. It settles, slowly, steadily, like a quiet reassurance that you don't have to open the door quickly. You don't have to open it perfectly. You don't even have to open it fully. All you need is to be here,
present, breathing, awake in your own quiet truth. The air around you grows softer, thicker with stillness. You feel the space settling into a silence that is not empty, but full. A silence that holds you the way a gentle hand rests on a shoulder, not to lead you, not to restrain you, but simply to say, you don't need to rush. You never did. Your thumb brushes the edge of the door. Your breath deepens. Your heartbeat slows. And the world waits, patient, unhurried, for whatever comes next.
You keep your hand on the warm wood, and in the stillness that follows, something inside you shifts, not dramatically, not sharply, but in the gentle way a frozen lake begins to thaw beneath the first touch of spring. It's subtle, almost invisible, yet unmistakably present. A loosening, a softening, a dissolving of whatever you thought you had to force. For so long you've believed that progress required effort, that doors opened only when pushed, that movement demanded willpower, strategy, timing, control. But as you stand here, palm resting lightly on the door that has waited so quietly, you begin to sense a different kind of truth, one you rarely give yourself space to feel. Sometimes, the moment opens you long before you open anything else. Your fingers relax. Your shoulders gently fall. Your breath becomes a slow, flowing tide moving through your body. And for the first time in this long inward journey, you're not trying to get anywhere. You're simply here, present, breathing, rooted in the quiet awareness that nothing needs to change for this moment to matter. The door feels different now beneath your palm, not warmer, not cooler, just softer, as if the wood recognizes the shift in you, as if your acceptance, your non-force, has changed the space between you and it. And then something even more unexpected happens. Your hand isn't pushing. Your arm isn't applying pressure. Your body isn't commanding anything to move. Yet the door, ever so quietly, begins to ease inward. Not because you forced it, not because you did anything, but because you finally stopped fighting yourself. The hinges release the softest sigh, like a long-held breath finally exhaled. A whisper of wood glides through the air, delicate and unhurried. The door opens just a few inches, enough for a sliver of darkness to appear beyond the frame, but not enough to reveal anything clearly. And somehow, that feels right. This isn't a moment of revelation. It's a moment of permission. For the first time, you feel deeply, undeniably, that the obstacle you feared was never resisting you. It was only waiting for you to stop resisting yourself. Beyond the small opening, you sense nothing threatening, only quiet, only space, only possibility. The kind of possibility that doesn't rush toward you or demand anything of you. It simply exists, waiting to be explored whenever you feel ready. The air from the other side drifts toward you. It's cool, soft, almost like night air touched by moonlight, gentle, observant, full of its own calm wisdom. Your breath syncs with it without effort. Inhale, the quiet from beyond the door. Exhale, whatever weight you carried to this place. You don't walk through, not yet, because this isn't about crossing a threshold. It's about recognizing the moment your inner door,
the one inside your chest, inside your voice, inside your quiet fears, quietly unlatched. The wooden door before you stands partly open, not inviting, not urging, simply allowing. Allowing you to move forward when you choose, allowing you to pause as long as you want, allowing you to understand that openness has its own timing. And today, that timing finally aligned with your breath. In this soft, patient space, you realize something gently profound. The world didn't need you to push harder. It needed you to stop pushing against yourself. And now the path forward, whatever it contains, whatever shape it will take, is no longer a resistance. It's simply the next quiet step, whenever you're ready to take it.
You step past the partially open door, not in haste, but in the soft rhythm of a mind finally still enough to notice the details around it. The hall beyond stretches longer than you anticipated, lined with muted shadows that lean gently against walls of aged wood. Each step you take feels deliberate, like a conversation between your feet and the floor, quiet but intentional, acknowledging presence rather than demanding progress. The air here carries a subtle warmth, mingled with the faint scent of old paper and polished wood, as if the space itself remembers the many travelers who have walked this quiet path before. Every sound is softened, your breath, the faint creak of floorboards, the distant hum of night insects outside, blending into a harmony that eases the tension you didn't even know you were holding. For a moment, you pause and let the hall stretch before you without expectation. The shadows are not ominous, they are gentle, flowing like slow rivers of calm, moving in the same rhythm as your heartbeat. And it becomes clear, the hall does not ask you to hurry, to predict, or to understand. It simply exists in quiet companionship, allowing your mind to slow to its natural pace. You take another step forward. The floor beneath responds subtly, grounding you, reminding you that each motion you make can be soft and deliberate rather than hurried. And with every breath, you feel more of the weight in your chest melting away, the constant push, the invisible pressures, the imagined urgencies that have been following you all day, all week, all life. A faint light appears ahead, diffuse, almost shy. It does not blind you, it does not demand. It simply glows, as if acknowledging your presence and the deliberate pace at which you are moving. The hall itself seems to bend toward the light, curving gently around you, guiding without insisting. And in this guidance, you notice something profound. The path has been waiting for your awareness, not your speed. The journey through the hall is not about reaching an end. It is about feeling the subtle interplay of movement and stillness, of hesitation and trust, and realizing that both belong. Each step, each breath, each heartbeat resonates with the quiet understanding that you are learning to move without force, to progress without rushing, to exist without judgment. And in that realization, the hall becomes less a space and more a companion, patient, steady, and unconditionally present. You continue forward, letting the rhythm of your breath and the gentle pull of the hall guide you. There is no urgency. There is no end that needs to arrive, only the soft understanding that the hall knows your pace, and for the first time, you are ready to follow it without resistance. As you move through the hall, your eyes fall upon a tall, narrow window set into the wall. Moonlight filters through the glass, spilling softly across the wooden floor. It's not bright, not demanding, simply present, reflecting the calm within you.
You notice your reflection faintly in the glass, your posture relaxed, your breathing steady, your eyes softer. The reflection doesn't judge. It doesn't whisper warnings or obligations. It simply is, a mirror to the stillness you have carried into this space. Outside, the night moves quietly, a gentle breeze stirring distant leaves, the far-off call of an owl, the soft rustle of unseen creatures. The world continues, yet here you are, undisturbed. You watch the reflection lengthen and shorten as the moonlight shifts with your slow, deliberate steps. And with every passing moment, you feel the space within yourself expand, making room for presence rather than pursuit. The window does not require anything from you. Its stillness invites observation, not action. In that observation, you sense a subtle truth. Reflection is not judgment. Silence is not emptiness. Patience is not stagnation. The calm radiating from the glass is not something to chase. It is something you have been cultivating without noticing. And for the first time, you recognize that your own stillness has shaped this quiet beauty, not the moon, not the hall, not the world outside. You take a breath, slow and deep, and let the air mingle with the soft scent of polished wood and distant night air. The light from the window touches your hands, your shoulders, your chest. Nothing dramatic, nothing sudden, simply warmth, simply quiet, simply an echo of the acceptance that has grown steadily inside you throughout this journey. The window becomes more than glass. It becomes a guide, a teacher, a companion that asks only that you notice, breathe, and exist fully in the present moment. The floor beneath your feet shifts slightly as you step onto a long woven carpet stretching down the hall. Its texture is soft, yet grounded, each thread interlaced with patience and care. With each step, you notice how sound changes, no longer echoing sharply off the walls, but softened, muted, intimate. The carpet absorbs your movement, welcoming it, cradling it, teaching you that motion can exist without tension, that every step can be deliberate and unhurried. The scent of aged fibers mixes subtly with the night air and the faint warmth of the hall, creating a cocoon of calm that envelops your senses. With each breath, the rhythm of your movement sinks more naturally to your internal pace. You feel how heavy the urge to rush has been, and how easily it can dissolve when attention turns inward. The carpet, unremarkable at first glance, now reveals its subtle teaching. Even the smallest grounding element can reshape your experience, if only you allow yourself to notice. You take several steps, each one a quiet affirmation that you are present. The hall no longer feels linear or constricted. It feels responsive, alive in its own quiet way. The carpet beneath your feet seems to hum softly, vibrating not in sound, but in sensation, resonating with the stillness you carry. And in that hum, you realize that even movement can be meditation, that the act of walking can be as gentle as sitting, as illuminating as observation, if done with awareness. As you continue, the carpet leads you to a small archway on the side, a place you may not have noticed in your earlier glance down the hall. Its presence is subtle, almost shy, and yet unmistakable. You sense it is not an exit, nor a distraction, but an invitation to deepen your attention, to allow curiosity to mingle with calm. And you step forward, breathing fully, letting the subtle hum beneath your feet carry you further into stillness.
Passing under the archway, you feel a gentle shift in the air, lighter, cooler, and infused with quiet expectation. The arch is simple, unadorned, yet its presence communicates something profound. Sometimes the most meaningful lessons arrive without language, without instruction, without demonstration. They exist, waiting for attention, waiting for readiness, waiting for the mind to stop imposing urgency. The space beyond the archway is slightly wider, the ceiling higher. Shadows soften into gentle folds, and the air feels almost liquid in its smooth flow. You notice the interplay of light and shadow dancing across the walls, subtle, quiet, and perfectly unhurried. For the first time in what feels like hours, you let your body sink into the moment fully. Your shoulders drop, your jaw softens, your breath deepens, not because you are pushing toward insight, but because you are allowing it to arrive naturally. With each step, the quiet seems to respond. The walls, the light, the subtle temperature, the faint hum of air through unseen cracks, they all converge in a delicate orchestration, reminding you that calm is not absence, calm is presence. The archway did not teach you by words, it teaches by holding you, by letting you move slowly, by inviting patience. And as you pause beneath it, you understand clearly, the journey is not about rushing to the other side. It is about feeling the space, absorbing its calm, and letting it infuse your own rhythm. You continue forward, step by step, each footfall in harmony with the stillness around you. The hall beyond the archway seems to stretch infinitely, yet not intimidatingly. Every inch of space holds room for reflection, for ease, for quiet acknowledgement of the breath that carries you. And in this recognition, you find a subtle smile forming within you, a quiet gratitude for stillness, for patience, for the understanding that doors, halls, and moments all exist to reflect your own readiness. A solitary candle appears on a low shelf along the hall. Its flame dances softly, irregular yet comforting, casting a gentle light that stretches across the floor and walls. You notice that the flame does not rush, does not demand attention, and does not judge. It flickers as it wishes, with complete freedom, yet illuminates the space just enough for you to move without strain. There is a lesson here. Illumination does not always require perfection. Even the smallest light, if steady and patient, can guide a way forward. You breathe deeply, letting the warmth of the candle seep into your chest. Each inhalation brings presence. Each exhalation releases tension. The shadows on the walls become companions, not obstacles, and the flame's soft rhythm seems to mirror your own heartbeat, slow and consistent. You feel the subtle beauty of impermanence, of movement without force, and how even a tiny flicker can hold significance when observed with awareness. The candle does not need your control. It does not need your input. It simply exists, and in that simple being teaches you the quiet power of allowance. Step by step, you continue alongside its glow, aware that your own inner light has been growing with each moment of attentiveness. The candle does not illuminate your path completely, nor does it need to. It only suggests, it only hints, and in that suggestion, you understand that clarity often arrives quietly, without drama, without demands. You smile inwardly, noticing the ease of presence that has been steadily building within you.
A staircase appears at the end of the hall. Its steps are wide and worn, polished by countless travelers who, like you, moved slowly, intentionally, deliberately. Yet it seems to lead nowhere specific, a paradox that invites contemplation. You step carefully, noting how the worn wood carries memory beneath your feet, how each rise feels natural and each fall a gentle support. The staircase teaches you that ascent is not always about reaching. Sometimes it is about feeling each step fully, recognizing the space it occupies in your own journey. With each step, the air shifts slightly, carrying the scent of wood smoke and faint herbs, grounding, soft, and familiar. You are aware that the staircase does not demand your speed, nor does it force direction. It simply exists, offering a structure within which your awareness can move freely. And as you pause mid-step, looking at the infinite potential both above and below, a quiet lesson emerges. Sometimes the purpose of movement is not to arrive, but to inhabit the experience of moving. Your hands lightly graze the banister, feeling the texture, the warmth, the subtle imperfections. Each contact grounds you further, reminding you that presence is cultivated through touch, attention, and patience. The staircase becomes a meditation, an embodiment of progress without urgency, a gentle teacher showing that the journey matters more than the destination. On the wall beside the staircase hangs a painting, muted in tone yet rich with subtle detail. Its subject is unidentifiable at first glance, a landscape, a face, a thought perhaps, yet it draws your gaze steadily. Unlike most paintings you've seen, this one does not demand analysis. It does not speak loudly or insistently. Instead, it watches you, quietly, patiently, reflecting the depth of your own observation. The painting teaches that seeing is not about understanding immediately, but about allowing perception to deepen naturally. You take a step closer, noticing brush strokes, layers of color, shadows that seem alive with soft movement. And as you study the subtle complexity, you realize the lesson. Perception deepens when not forced. Insight grows when allowed to arise at its own pace. You breathe slowly, and the painting seems to respond, not literally, but through your growing awareness of subtleties, textures, and quiet truths. A sense of gratitude rises within you for the small moments of attention, for the spaces that invite careful observation, and for the quiet reminders that the world around you reflects the inner calm you cultivate. You step back gently, carrying the resonance of the painting into the rhythm of your continued movement, feeling your own steps mirrored in the patience of the brush.
The hall bends slightly, curving as it stretches forward, softening the linearity that might have suggested urgency. You notice how the curve changes perception, making space feel wider, quieter, and more receptive. The floorboards creak faintly underfoot, reminding you that every step is acknowledged, every motion matters. The air carries a subtle warmth, like sunlight filtered through a canopy you cannot see, hinting at gentle guidance rather than rigid direction. You walk slowly, letting your attention soak into every detail, the gentle shadows along the walls, the faint resonance of your breath, the subtle play of light reflecting off the polished wood. Each step deepens your awareness, creating a rhythm that is both external and internal. You are not moving toward an end, but into the quality of movement itself, discovering that presence unfolds naturally when pace and attention align. The curve of the hallway seems to fold around you, protective and patient. For the first time, you feel the rhythm of your own thought aligning with the rhythm of space. The journey is less about arriving and more about inhabiting each moment fully, and the hall reminds you, softly but clearly, that this is precisely the kind of learning that transforms without effort.
A soft breeze flows through the curved hallway, carrying the faint scent of distant earth, water, and pine. It brushes gently against your skin, moving through hair and clothing as if to remind you that nothing is fixed, nothing is permanent, and everything that lingers unnecessarily can be released. With each inhalation, you feel the weight of old thoughts, old fears, and imagined responsibilities lighten. With each exhalation, they drift away, carried softly on the wind, leaving space for clarity and calm. You notice how effortless the wind is. It does not push or demand. It does not scold or instruct. It simply moves. And in its simple movement, you feel the echo of your own journey, the letting go that you have resisted for so long, now unfolding naturally because you are ready to allow it. The air wraps around you, lifting small tensions from your shoulders, your chest, your mind. Each step forward becomes lighter, easier, freer. As you walk, you begin to sense the infinite patience of the space itself. The hallway, the archways, the candles, the paintings, and now the wind all harmonize, reinforcing a single quiet truth. What is meant to leave will leave when you are ready, and what is meant to guide will appear when you stop trying to force it. The wind is gentle, the air is soft, and your breath moves in quiet understanding with the rhythm of release.
Looking upward, you notice the ceiling's beams, dark yet warm, spaced rhythmically along the hall. There is a subtle motion, almost imperceptible, as if the ceiling itself breathes in tune with your own breath. Each inhale draws a faint upward current of air. Each exhale settles it back down. The experience is mesmerizing, a living structure, patient and quiet, reminding you that the world around you is neither rigid nor indifferent. It moves with you, waiting for your awareness, echoing your rhythm, and reinforcing the gentle truth that stillness and motion can coexist seamlessly. You walk beneath the beams, noticing the texture of the wood, the slight imperfections, the gentle curves. Nothing demands perfection, nothing demands speed. Every small detail becomes a meditation. The ceiling's quiet breathing mirrors your own, teaching a subtle lesson. Awareness expands when synchronized with the gentle flow of life, rather than imposed upon it. Ahead, another door emerges, simple, unassuming, yet undeniably present. Unlike previous doors, this one does not hint at what lies beyond. It waits. It does not demand your attention, yet it draws your gaze with quiet insistence. You approach it slowly, palm resting gently on the surface. The warmth beneath your hand is familiar, comforting. You realize that the door is not an obstacle. It is a reflection of patience, of readiness, of the quiet knowing that choice is a gift, not a duty. With every slow step, the hallway seems to fold around you, echoing your calm. The door does not move until you choose to act. And in that choice, not rushed, not forced, but intentional, you feel the power of free will combined with gentle patience. Sometimes, the most profound lessons arrive not in action, but in stillness, and the door reminds you of this with quiet dignity. Stepping closer to the door, you notice the air thickens slightly, as if charged with unseen possibilities. It does not press upon you. It does not demand. It whispers. The whisper is subtle, inaudible to ears but deeply recognizable within the quiet of your awareness. Step when you are ready. Wait when you are ready. Observe when you are ready. You inhale deeply, feeling the invitation sink into your chest. Your body relaxes further, your mind softens. The threshold is not a challenge. It is a teacher,
a gentle companion guiding you toward presence without haste, revealing that readiness is both the door and the key.
You stand quietly now, the hall behind you calm, the doors you passed lingering softly in memory. The air around you feels tender, as if the space itself is sighing with relief and satisfaction, acknowledging the journey you have taken. Your breath flows naturally, deeper and slower with each inhale and exhale. Your body feels lighter, unburdened, and your mind is softened, like water settling after a gentle stir. There is nothing more to do. No task left unfinished, no question demanding an answer. The journey itself has been enough, and in that recognition, you feel a quiet completeness bloom within you. Every step, every pause, every observation, it has all led to this moment of peaceful presence. As your awareness drifts gently toward rest, you realize that the lessons of this hall, these doors, these subtle movements are now part of you. The stillness you cultivated here does not leave with this story. It stays with you, a gentle companion in the quiet spaces of your day, ready to be felt whenever you return to breath, pause, and awareness. And now, as your eyelids grow heavier, as your heartbeat slows to its natural, calm rhythm, let the night carry you fully. Let the soft shadows cradle you. The gentle echoes remind you of patience, and the quiet teach you that every moment, no matter how small, is enough. Good night from Sleepy Zen Story, and may your dreams be soft, gentle, and full of calm. Moon.